Welcome to our team call tonight, everybody. And I can't believe we're in the last week of August 2019 already. It's crazy how fast this summer is gone. They actually had a forecast that we might be getting some frost tonight, which is crazy. Anyways, we'll go to Florida next week and then we'll be good. So, so Laurie, I'm just going to turn it over to you. We talked products a couple of weeks ago, and Laurie just basically concentrated mostly on our Optimum, and we're just going to go a little bit further into some more knowledge on our products and how they're helping us. So Laurie, I'll hand it over.
Thank you, Kathy. Well, today I dove down the rabbit hole of antioxidants. So I'm going to take you on a trip of antioxidants. Let me go get my PowerPoint. Share screen. This is the part that always scares me. Trying to find my, my PowerPoint. Okay, so I do slideshow from beginning. Okay, so I'm going to do a little review of the Optimum Coffee and the Max Spray, because not all of you had joined us last time, and it's always good to hear it, more times than not. So we'll go through that again in just a little bit, and then we'll go a little further into what I call the big four: the Optimum Coffee, the Max Spray, the Emulin, and the 24/7, and how they're working. So with the Optimum Coffee, one of its features is the fact that it will nourish our dopamine reward centers in our brain and our gut to help us feel better. And when you feel better, you have more energy to get up and move around. You have more brain concentration to eat better and get through the day. So the dopamine, the pathways are mainly in the brain, but they are down the spine and in the gut as well. And they are our reward or our motivation centers. So when we tend to use food or cigarettes or alcohol or drugs as a reward in our daily lives, the dopamine reward centers respond to that. And the more you use those rewards, the more pleasure, the more euphoria, the more compulsion. You want to do it again and again to get that high back. And it's, as much as it seems like it's not a detrimental thing, it actually is detrimental to your dopamine reward centers. So we haven't changed since the caveman days. Our physical bodies are exactly made up as they were back then. We haven't grown an extra arm. We haven't grown an extra organ. We're still compiled of a 70 trillion cells that make up our tissues and our organs and function, drive our body basically. So our physical body has not changed. What has changed though is how much we eat. We eat too much food, and we're eating foods that are not good for us, that are causing us to gain weight and literally overnourish our dopamine reward centers. So every bite you take is either fighting disease or feeding it. And that's the bottom line. Your food is your fuel for your body. I tell my little grandson, who's 6 years old and will not eat a vegetable or fruit, that, well, Ryder, what would happen if we put diesel into my car? Well, it wouldn't run. I said, well, why? Well, it's not the right fuel. I said, well, it's the same thing with your body. If you don't give your physical body the right fuel to run, it can't. It cannot run efficiently, and that's when disease starts to set in. So what we choose for our foods is so very, very important. And also, we tend to mess up our hunger, what's the word I'm looking for? Our hunger signals, right? You can have physical hunger or you can have emotional hunger. So physical hunger comes on gradually, and it can be postponed, and you can feel it in your gut. You can be satisfied with any type of food, but once you're full, you can also stop eating. And it causes satisfaction, and it doesn't cause any guilt. When you eat from emotions, it comes on suddenly and feels urgent. It causes specific cravings for pizza, chocolate, ice cream. You eat more than you normally would. You feel uncomfortably full. Your satiety button is gone. You don't know when to stop. And it leaves you feeling guilty and cross with yourself. So in this day and age, with all the stress and the fast-paced lives we live, we're tending to eat more from emotional hunger than physical hunger, and it's screwing up our bodies. What happens is the dangers of visceral fat. You know, the more you eat, the more your body has to deal with it. So you can chow down a pizza at midnight if you want, but the body isn't set up to digest at midnight. So it's going to store it. And it's going to store it as visceral fat underneath the abdominal wall, and it's going to cover your organs, causing who knows what kind of stress on your internal organs. The liver is the organ that the liver and the gallbladder break down fat. So if you eat a fatty meal every breakfast, lunch, and supper 3 times a week or 3 times a day, day after day after day, you overburden your liver and it can't deal with it. So it gets overburdened, the gallbladder gets all stressed out, and the liver starts to stuff fat in the linings of your intestinal wall. It starts to stuff it around your internal organs, under your skin, and it spills your blood. And this sets up a whole host of problems for your body because you gain weight and you can't seem to get it off. When you have too much fat in your blood, you literally choke out the oxygen. And I think most of us have heard the theory that cancer cannot live in an oxygenated environment. But the more fat you have in your blood, the less oxygen is there. The more it creates an acidic environment, the less alkaline environment is there. Cancer can thrive in an environment that has less oxygen and is acidic. So you're literally incubating cancer when you allow this to happen to your body. And it's not funny. So what is visceral fat? Look at it. This is a healthy heart right here, and here's an unhealthy heart wrapped in visceral fat. So imagine how hard it is for your body or your heart to pump when it's wrapped up in visceral fat. All your organs are wrapped up in visceral fat when you have excess fat on your body, and they cannot function properly. There's just no way. So let's talk about the dopamine reward centers. In a normal brain, the red on here dictates the dopamine reward centers in a normal brain. In an obese brain, you can see that there's very little red left. What happens is that the more you hit your dopamine reward centers with the pleasure foods, like the pizzas or the chocolate or the alcohol, the cigarettes, anything that you're using to soothe yourself, the dopamine reward centers can't handle it. And it's overstimulation, and they start shutting down. And that is why it takes more food to satisfy you. It takes more drugs. It takes more alcohol. It takes more cigarettes, because your dopamine reward centers are literally shutting down to protect the body from the overstimulation. Here's a smoker. A non-smoker's brain is lit right up. There's lots of red there. Here's a smoker's brain. It's starting to shrink. Normal brain, alcoholic brain. Normal brain, obese brain. Normal brain, cocaine brain. Cocaine addicts have a really hard time because it shuts down the dopamine reward centers frantically, and it takes more and more of that drug to make them feel as good as they did the first time they took it. So you can see that you don't want to stimulate your dopamine reward centers with things that it shouldn't be using as its rewards. Dopamine reward centers are in the brain, they travel down the spine, and they're in the gut. So you're hitting that whole line of dopamine pathways when you're overeating, overindulging. So life is in the blood. I think we've come to terms with that fact because of the Max Spray. Until the Max Spray came into my life, I really didn't know much about the blood system. And so I started diving into what goes on. And I found out that the blood is a one-way system. The heart is the pump, the lungs provide the oxygen, The red blood cells carry the nutrients and the oxygen to all the 70 trillion plus cells in your body, and then it carries dead cells and wastes away for elimination. So the arteries and the capillaries take out the nutrients and the oxygen, which are sitting on the red blood cells, and then the veins bring it back to with the dead cells in the waste, and then it's eliminated through the body. It goes through the intestines, the lungs will cough it out. There's the lymphatic system. All of the 5 elimination organs start to move out the debris. If your blood isn't flowing well and you're not getting any nutrients and oxygen, there's not enough nutrients and oxygen to the red blood cells, you're literally starving yourself inside. You're starving your cells. And the job of the cells is just to multiply. One cell multiplies into 2, which multiplies into 4, and so on and so on. The condition that that original cell is in will be what they multiply in. So if your cells are damaged, you are literally building the building blocks of your body on damaged cells. And that is also where disease will happen. When your blood can't carry away the dead cells and the waste for elimination, you start getting buildup of plaque in your blood vessels. You start getting tumors. You start getting all kinds of issues because the dead cells are collecting together. A benign tumor would be a bunch of dead cells collected together that have not been eliminated from the body. And so a cancerous tumor would be a bunch of cancerous cells that have grown together. So it's important that your body is every day being able to eliminate the waste that has been created from the food we put in, the toxins that we breathe, all of the things that we pass through in a day, the body has to deal with and get rid of it. So the Vaso-6 in the Optimum coffee is a vasodilator. What it does is that it encourages the release of nitric oxide. And nitric oxide is what dilates the blood vessels, and it softens up the blood vessel walls and allows the blood vessel to spread out a little bit more and carry more blood through it efficiently. It's the same pathway that's used with Viagra. That's where Viagra comes from. It goes along these blood vessel walls, releases nitric oxide, and causes a much stronger erection of blood through the penis. So it's the same process as what the Vaso-6 is doing inside of our blood. Maybe minus the erection. I'm not sure. I'm sure that if the Vaso-6 is working on that, it is definitely going to help increase your life, your sex life as well, because there's more blood flowing to all the cells in your body. So when you have a diseased artery, if you look down here, where plaque and fatty deposits have started to build up on the inside, it causes that artery or that vessel to be brittle, and it doesn't expand as well, and it literally starts to shrink the amount of blood that can flow through that area and could cause a blockage. I mean, what goes on with blockages in the heart? It literally cuts off the blood supply to the heart. That's what's happening right there. So if you have a high-fat diet and your blood isn't working well, you're starting to build up plaque on the inside of your blood vessel walls, you are very sick, and you're going to be in a world of hurt. So it's very important that we keep our blood vessels soft and pliable, and our red blood cells healthy, flowing through the blood to feed the trillions of cells in the body. What causes nitric oxide deficiencies is basically our everyday life: aging, inactivity, smoking, fatty foods, fatty diets, lack of healthy foods in our diet. And nitric oxide benefits when you get your blood flowing better. You have increased energy, you have increased vitality, and you have increased overall wellness. So the blood flow is very important. Sticky blood. This is where the Max Spray came in for us. We learned about the fact that when your blood is sticky from the same pretty much issues that cause the nitric oxide deficiencies, the red blood cells start to stack up on each other, stick together, which causes no surface space to be available. What happens is that each red blood cell has a surface space available that attracts the nutrition and the oxygen to it. They free flow through the blood, and they feed the cells as they go along. When they're stacked up like coins, there's no free space available for the nutrients and the oxygen to attach the red blood cells, and the blood becomes very sluggish, and you are literally starving to death inside because your cells are starving. They have no no food, no oxygen to remain healthy with. Without that, they just start to get unhealthy. What causes sticky blood? Smoking, excess coffee, alcohol, high stress, exposure to toxins in our environment, our environment, and our modern day diet. So basically, our modern day lifestyle will cause sticky blood. And as you go through life, if you aren't aware of that, you are operating from a place of sticky blood that is starving your body from the inside out. So Prevail Max Spray is so important for our health. It contains 10 essential minerals that the body needs, which is amazing. And when you spray it under your tongue, 4 sprays 3 times a day, if not more, you cannot overuse this product. It creates what's called an osmotic pressure, and that pressure forces the red blood cells apart. And now they're free flowing, now they're available to do their job better, and the blood starts to move. So Max Spray literally keeps your blood moving and keeps it healthy. So, I mean, it's a hard one to notice if it's doing anything. You know, you've been spraying and spraying, and I don't know, but believe me, it's working inside, and it's a very vital part of how to keep ourselves healthy. I wanted to show you this picture of Steve Dibbins because this man owns a gym and works out continuously. However, he's in his 50s now, and you can see on the picture on the left that even though he works out all the time, he still has visceral fat on his body. So he got into the Optimum Coffee and the Max Spray. He registered for a competition that was over 50 years in age for his age limit, and he won. And that's what he looked like when he was done. So you can see how the visceral fat has been just in his body, and here it's not in his body. So people don't look like this anymore easily. And it doesn't necessarily mean you can exercise it off, because he was exercising all the time and he has no six pack. So it's important to dig into the body and clean out that garbage, clean out those dead cells and the waste, and get the body moving properly so that it's not having to stick all that garbage in places that it's not supposed to be. And here's his back. Like, it's amazing how it sculpted him out. So I think that's a really good example of what visceral fat does in the body. And when you get your reward centers healthier, your body starts to feel better, you have more energy, you start getting rid of the waste in your bowels, your blood starts to flow, you can have a six-pack too. So this is a new one for me. It's going to take me a while to wrap my head around the terminology of antioxidants, but I think with the addition of our 2 new products, Emulin and 24/7, that it's important to understand what antioxidants are all about. I know that they say it's a carb blocker, and it chaperones the carbs into your body into the right places instead of the fat cells, but I needed to know more. And the antioxidant just kept rolling around in my head. And I looked at this years ago, and it seemed kind of like, it seemed like really a hard thing to understand because there was a lot of names involved in it, but really once you wrap your head around it, it's not that hard to figure out. So let's just dive down this rabbit hole. I'm going to have to read you a few things because I still haven't got it set in my head today. But what is an antioxidant? It's a natural chemical that fights a process in your cells called oxidation. And oxidation is when the oxygen in the body that comes in through the lungs and is going through your blood splits into single atoms with unpaired electrons on them. And electrons like to be in pairs. So these molecules or atoms or ions, whatever they call them, those words are all used, are called free radicals. And they scavenge the body to seek out other electrons so they can become a pair. That's just the natural process of what they do. And this causes damage to cells, proteins, and to your DNA. So what is a free radical? A free radical in the body causes deterioration as they destroy cell membranes and make cells vulnerable to decay and to invasion from pathogens. So you do not want a lot of free radicals floating around in your body, in your blood, in your tissues. So the These free radicals damage DNA and mitochondria, the basic building blocks of all tissues, and leaves in their path many health problems. So free radicals are derived either from normal essential metabolic processes in the human body, which means that the body literally will create its own free radicals, but not as much as it does from external sources such as X-rays, ozone, cigarette smoking, air pollutants, pharmaceuticals cause it, industrial chemicals, and pesticides. And in this day and age, we have toxins everywhere. And our bodies were not designed to have to deal with as many chemicals in our environment as we are dealing with right now. It's in our food, it's in our water, it's in our air, it's everywhere. So you really have to understand that free radicals are happening and they're dangerous. And once a free radical is formed and it succeeds in gaining another electron from a nearby molecule, it leaves that molecule short of electrons, and that molecule now becomes a free radical. And then now in turn, turns around and tries to steal electrons from other molecules. So this whole process sets up a cascade and an enormous chain reaction which rapidly wreaks havoc on living tissue. And if you read anything about anti-aging, they always talk about free radicals and antioxidants, because there's this war going on inside where the free radicals are looking for that extra electron, and if they don't find it, they steal it from other molecules and set up this issue of aging that goes on, because it causes a lot of damage to your tissues and to your organs and to your skin. So this is a process right here that is going on right now as we speak. So where do you get antioxidants from? Well, lo and behold, they come from fruits and vegetables. And what is it that we don't eat very much of nowadays? It's fruits and vegetables. And this is my one bee in my bonnet that I have about where the medical profession has come in this day and age, because we have more medical tests, machines, and medicines than ever before, and yet we are the sickest we've ever been. So why would that be? Well, if you look at it, we eat way too much fat. It's not about the sugar. Vegetables and fruit have their own natural sugars, but when you eat them combined as a whole food, it also has other things that help balance the sugar, like fiber. My son's a type 1 diabetic. I learned all about carb counting, and when you look at a supplement facts on a food, you look at the sugar, and then you look at how much fiber is contained in that food, and then you subtract the fiber from the sugar, and that's how much sugar you're dealing with. That's how important fiber is to balancing out the sugar, okay? So when you eat a whole food, you're getting a balanced meal out of that. When you eat processed high fructose corn syrup that's in a bad chocolate bar, or all of the sugar that's out there in processed foods, it's not balanced because there's never any fiber. And if you look at how we eat, we never go to the sugar bowl in the cupboard and take a teaspoon of sugar and eat it. We never do that. So really, why is the sugar the culprit? What we do eat, though, is sugar and fat combined together. Sugar and fat in a chocolate bar, sugar and fat in a muffin, sugar and fat in a donut, sugar and fat on toast and jam. Toast and jam is sugar and fat. And the sugar is always combined with fat. So we tend to eat way too much fat. And what that fat does is it overloads the liver and the gallbladder, and the liver starts storing it in your intestinal walls, around your organs, under your skin, and spilling it into your blood. And it's the fat that gets in the way of the sugar or the insulin being able to get into the cell. That's what's clogging up the cell, and the insulin can't get through. And it's the fat that's choking out the oxygen in your blood and causing disease to happen. So really, you need to really look at what your fat intake is. And I'm sorry to say, but meat, dairy, and eggs are fat first. It's saturated fat, and it's not even a good source of protein for the body. So what has happened to the information that's coming into our into our arena of health is the fact that no doctor will tell you to stop eating eggs or dairy or meat, but they'll tell you to stop eating fruits or vegetables. White potatoes, for instance. There's nothing white about that potato. It's not even comparable to rice or flour that's white. There's white. White is in the middle of a radish. White is in the middle of a lot of vegetables. Potatoes are a really good source of nutrition for our bodies, and they've gotten a bad name. We've got the whole false premise of nightshades out there. Oh, don't eat nightshades. That's bullshit. Nightshades are fine. That's eggplant, potatoes, tomatoes. So people aren't eating tomatoes, which are an excellent source of vitamin C, because they're afraid of them. We've got the whole fruit fear out there. Oh, on the keto diet, only eat berries. Don't eat any other fruit. Well, you know what? Even if you eat berries on a keto diet, you are no longer in ketosis. If you eat dairy on a keto diet, you are no longer in ketosis because dairy contains lactose. If you eat any vegetable on a keto diet, you will no longer be in ketosis. The reason that they've snuck these into the keto diet, that's just keeps getting reinvented, was because people were dropping dead of eating just meat and eggs. So you cannot eat that way. Our body is not designed to eat that way. So imagine if you're on a keto diet and you're not taking in hardly any fruits and vegetables, you literally have no antioxidants inside your body to fight off the free radicals. So antioxidants doing their job. This is a free radical. All these are free radicals with their one electron. They're looking for another molecule to steal another electron out of. These are the antioxidants, and what the antioxidants do, I'll just go to this one here. When you have a healthy atom or a molecule or an ion, and you have a free radical that is going to steal an electron from that healthy atom, the antioxidant comes along and it literally gives away the electrons to free radicals and it neutralizes them. Does that make sense? That's as simple as you can get for what a free radical is and what an antioxidant is. The free radicals are looking for an electron. They're going to steal it. The antioxidants are in the body giving those electrons an extra electron, or giving those free radicals an extra electron, and now they become whole and they stop looking for stealing an electron from another molecule. It neutralizes them. So if you're not eating any fruits and vegetables in your diet, you have a free radical problem like mice in your house. You know, it's not a good thing. And they're eating away and they're causing damage and it's not pretty. So in this slide, this is the cell membrane. The free radicals can get inside the cell and cause all kinds of damage. So we've learned about how the blood feeds our cells. It's important to understand that we have to also make sure that free radicals are not out of control in our body, because it isn't a good thing. And the thing is too, is that an important role of antioxidants is their ability to protect that cell membrane from the ravaging effects of oxygen. Oxygen is our friend, but it also splits into single atoms and causes these free radicals. So cell membranes are really just the envelope that contains the content of the cells. And cell membranes are composed largely of fatty acid. Fatty acids are prone to the damaging effects of oxygen, and this is particularly true if they are polyunsaturated fatty acids. In fact, cells use a large amount of polyunsaturated fatty acids in their construction, which makes them highly likely to be damaged by oxygen through the generation of free radicals. I know that's a mouthful, but it just takes it a little further to help you understand that if you have an overabundance of fat in your body, you're causing all kinds of grief to your cells. So, oxidative stress. Oxidative stress is when there's a healthy cell that's attacked by free radicals and it causes oxidative stress. Basically, these are your building blocks in your body, these cells, and they are now totally compromised. They're totally compromised. And when they split, they're going to split in that condition. And now you're just breeding disease inside your body. This is an example of oxidative stress. When you cut an apple, it immediately is, when it hits the oxygen in the air, it starts to turn brown. That's oxidative stress on the apple. If you squeeze lemon onto that apple, it stops the oxidation. Why is that? Because the lemon is an antioxidant. Does that make sense? Okay, so even in the fruit world, anything that you cut that starts to turn brown, they tell us, well, grandmother days, I suppose, I don't know how they found out, squeeze lemon juice on it and it will stop it from browning. So if you're taking anything to a potluck that browns, you can put lemon juice over top of it and it will stop it from browning, because the lemon is an antioxidant. And citrus is very, very important as antioxidants. So I looked up this ingredient because the antioxidant trail led me there. And this is one of the ingredients in the emulin. It is a powerful antioxidant. Powerful. And the reason that it can do all these things listed here is because it's an antioxidant. And it's getting into your body and it's fighting free radicals. So it's fighting cancer because it's fighting free radicals. It's reducing inflammation because it's fighting the free radicals that are irritating and causing the inflammation. All of these things, you have too many free radicals in your brain and your heart, and it's going to cause problems. So all of these things do what they do because they're an antioxidant. And it literally prevents and reverses wrinkles. And I don't know about you guys, but I took 2 bottles of the 24/7 and I sure found that it did that on my body. It was reducing the wrinkles. Okay. Oops. The other ingredient in emulin is quercetin, if that's how you say it. I'm not really sure. I have trouble with the English language, let alone these kinds of words. It's a antioxidant, another powerful antioxidant that is contained in fruits and vegetables. And quercetin doesn't just it's not just from onions. Here's a top 10 foods of where it comes from. Watercress, cilantro, radicchio, which is like red cabbage, asparagus, okra, onion, serrano peppers, red leaf lettuce, and kale. Those are all foods that contain this antioxidant in it. It doesn't say meat, dairy, and eggs on there at all. Same with the this one, the myricetin, is how you say it. Oranges, blueberries, grapes, broccoli, cabbage, peppers, garlic, cashews, guava, French beans, tomatoes, and apples. Doesn't say fruits and it doesn't say meat, dairy, and eggs on this list at all. These are all from fruits and vegetables. So this ingredient is a high antioxidant. This one, again, a powerful antioxidant. And the third one is chlorogenic acid, which is also a powerful antioxidant. So this really helps me understand more what emulin is doing in the body to me, because when you understand how important it is that your antioxidants are balanced with your free radicals so that there isn't an overload of free radicals in the body, you understand why the inflammation seems to go away. You understand why the pain seems to go away. You understand why your immune system seems to be stronger. It's all working from the antioxidant point of view, okay? And the thing about carbs is the word carbohydrate. I found this interesting. The word carbohydrate means basically hydrated carbon, which is what plants use to make carbs and all that's left after we burn them for energy in our muscles and brain. I think the word carbohydrate has got a bad rap. The meat, dairy, and egg industries have made it out to be the enemy, and it is not the enemy. Fat is the enemy. So emulin is basically a high-grade antioxidant for our body. And it's again, it's a subtle thing. It's a subtle thing that's working inside the body, but you can, within a week, 2 weeks, you can notice that your pain is less, your inflammation is gone. You know, all of those things are happening because of its high quality antioxidant. Same with the 24/7. It's a source of antioxidants, the AM formula. And what is the PM formula but a source of antioxidants? So it's helping stop the damage from free radicals from having a poor diet from before. And the more antioxidants you have in your body, the healthier your cells will be, and the less disease you will have in your body. And that's just a fact. So these two products work really well to fight that battle inside of our bodies. And I found a quote from a biochemist that I think says it all. Aging is a disease. The human lifespan simply reflects the level of free radical damage that accumulates in the cells. When enough damage accumulates, the cells cannot survive properly anymore, and they just simply give up. So basically, death is our cells just finally giving up. And how well you want to go into aging is completely up to you, and it is completely fueled by your diet and what you put in your body for fuel. And that's my story for today. Thanks.
Thanks, Laurie. Always I take notes on your talk, and so thank you. And yeah, just the understanding of the antioxidants is pretty incredible. So thanks for diving into that tonight.
Well, I was trying to find a simple way to put it too, where it didn't seem so overwhelming, you know. And you can get a lot more, but again, we can simplify all of this stuff. Our bodies don't have to seem so complicated as the medical profession seems to lay it out for us.
Yeah. So thank you. And I know we've gone a little bit over time here, but I know Mike wanted to come on just for a minute, and then we will close the call. But thanks, Laura, for always showing up for us and you're giving us your knowledge. So Mike, did you want to pop on for a second?
Yeah, thank you, Laurie. Your wealth of knowledge, and that for anyone new on the Zoom here, it's amazing stuff. Our products, what they're doing for us. So just getting a little better understanding of how they work is always good knowledge to just pass on to our customers. So, but I'd like to just recognize Eric Campana. He's on the Zoom here for the first time tonight, and he's a new Ruby business. So we're gonna get Eric rocking here with Valentis and introduce him to some top leaders and just show him what's possible, so everybody can just give him a warm welcome. That'd be awesome.
Hi guys, it was great information. Thank you so much, Laurie.
Awesome. Okay, Eric. So thanks for coming on tonight. And we do this every Monday at 8 o'clock Mountain Standard Time. We bring up different people from the groups and train on what they're knowledgeable from, and just kind of pulls everybody together. And so we don't need to know everything because we have so many people with diverse backgrounds here to help us grow our teams. So yeah, so if you have any quick questions, Eric, fire away. If not, welcome. And we're looking forward to helping you out here.
Thanks so much, Mike. Really happy to be here, and really nice meeting you all, and looking forward to future training videos.
Awesome. Okay. That's it, Kath.
Yeah, thank you guys for coming tonight, and this is recorded. So as always, you can find this in our Take Control team and share it with whoever needs to just understand a little bit more about how our coffee and Max and our Emulin is coming soon, you guys. Our warehouses the doors are going to be slammed wide open here pretty soon. So just get ready and have an amazing week. And for everyone, next week we are going to be, some of us are going to already be in Orlando, Florida. So we'll be coming at you guys from palm trees somewhere next Monday evening. So we'll be sharing lots of stuff for anybody who's not able to attend. For those that are, really looking forward to seeing you face to face and giving you a big hug. So have an amazing rest of your week, guys, and we'll talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
Thanks, Laurie. Amazing information as always.
Thanks.